Well, I was going to show you how to do some cold stratification of some chestnuts today. I bought my chestnuts from Chestnut Ridge of Pike County, Illinois. They came right away and they did not disappoint. This was a 2014 crop that they had. I bought some that are for seeds and some that are for eating. The ones for eating were delicious. I'd never had a chestnut before. They taste kind of like a sweet potato to some degree to me. That's the closest I can come up with, but they don't taste like a nut to me. They seem more like a sweet sort of potato, very filling, delicious snack. And they sent very large ones. I mean, to show you the size, this would be about the smallest one they sent, if you can see it, and that's just a little bit bigger than a quarter. That's a US quarter there that you can see. Whereas some of these larger ones, they have fairly large hands. You can see the size of this versus a quarter laid on the flat side on the back. It's almost the size of 2 quarters. I don't know if you can see that, but that would be a very, very large. It's almost, if I turn it, it's almost 2 quarters in size, plus it's wider than that. So, very large chestnuts. And those by far are more the standard than the smaller ones. This is 3 chestnuts. My hand's about, I don't know, maybe 8.5 inches, and that's pretty large. So you can eat them, and you can also prepare them for seeds. I've never grown these. I've grown multiple other types of seeds very successfully. They require cold stratification, acorns, tulip tree, different pines, different ones that require a cold season, and they all sprouted fine. So I assume this will work well. Well, this is a really thin-shelled, very large inner seed, so I guess from what I read, there's increased risk of fungus growing up. But the way I do this is very simple. They say sphagnum moss, or however you say that word. I just take some like that, dump it in the bowl, get myself a spoon, mix it up with a little water. You want it to be moist, not wet. And this takes quite a bit of mixing to get it to actually accept the water initially, and then it just retains the moisture very, very well. But you don't want it to be wet. You don't want it so you squeeze it so water gets out. At least in my limited experience. I'm certainly new at chestnuts, but you mix them up. You have your seed ready to go, and I just create layer after layer. I already have one that I put over 100 nuts in one thing sitting in the refrigerator in space that I've commandeered from my wife, and then I'll pull those out as they start to send down their root, and as they send their root out, they will have to come out and go into something different. Otherwise they'll die as they sit there. But from what I read, they'll stick around. This is very late November of 2014, and we're going to do these for the spring of 2015. And from what I read, they'll send out their reticule, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a plant expert. Their first sign of a root coming out will come out sometime in late February. So I'll have to have bags ready. I'll put them under a grow light potentially, which I've done before, and they should be fine. And I got to put a little more dirt here. I got some covering, but I want a little more. That's what I have the bowl for. Mixing it some more. The cooking show for chestnuts. So it has some moisture. It's not wet. I can't squeeze it and make water come out, maybe 1 drop. That seems pretty good for me. And I don't know if you can see it, but on each chestnut, they tend to have a flat side. Almost all of them have a very clear flat side, and some have, and then they'll have a rounded surface. And they should be planted with that flat side down. That will make the root orient correctly. Some are these come in a pocket of 3 seeds when they're in their prickly outer shell, and so the middle one may be a little less clear, but still even that will have a more flat section. This one, we'll save for eating. I'm a hog. But all the rest of these, I don't know if you can see, I'm just going to gently place right there. Here's one of those that's in the middle. It kind of is hard to tell which side's flat. In that case, just pick what seems to be the flattest side and put it in. These I intend to plant either in the fall of 2014. I'm going to put them in grow bags, let them grow in the backyard where I can closely monitor them, but my property's about 40 minutes away, so I can't keep a super close eye on them. I'll make sure they grow into healthy seedlings. I'll either plant them next fall or the next spring. I'll put them out where they're actually going to do their growing. According to the website, and I don't know if this is accurate, Chestnut Ridge of Pike County bought all of their chestnuts from the Real Tree Nursery, which only sells Dunstan chestnuts. And Dunstan chestnuts supposedly are resistant or immune or something magical with the chestnut blight. They do have Chinese chestnut characteristics. A lot of them do seem to have a branching habit as opposed to a tall timber tree habit, but according to their published statements is that a lot of them do have timber characteristics of the American chestnut. They are a hybrid. So anyway, I put one layer in here. This is trying to get as much space as possible used up. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24, I got 29 in that first layer. I know that I only have a limited need for the rest of these, so I didn't plant them as tight, but the last one had almost 50 per layer. And the reason why I can put these tight is because as soon as they start putting down roots, I'm going to move them to something else. I'm stirring this up. I think this is the most exciting part about seeds of any sort. Getting them prepped, kind of fooling them, and getting them the perfect conditions so that they will sprout and grow into new trees and have an unlimited supply. And of course the cost can't be beat. I forget exactly what these were, $6 or $8 a pound, and you get 40, 50 nuts per pound versus if you buy a single tree that's grown 1 year, then you're spending $25 if you're not buying a huge amount of them. So I got this here. I spread it out gently. The great thing about that moss is the peat moss, it doesn't really stick to your hand hardly at all. Then I want a good layer because these seeds, you do not want them to dry out. If they dry out, they will shrivel. And from everything I read, you can keep them cold for a long time, but they kind of just suspend their preparation for sprouting until you get them moist and give them the proper time while they're moist and in kind of a perfect condition. So you want to keep them moist. I'll do my next layer, which is only going to be a few seeds here because I have to eat some of them. But overall, I was very happy with the seeds I got. They try to ship them on certain days so that you get them as close to right off the ground as possible. I'm going to save 5 more for me. That's a perfect colored chestnut. These are not horse chestnuts. These are not Buckeyes. These are I don't know, I think they're called sweet chestnuts. that are great for anything that you wanna grow them. Supposedly the Dunstan grows and produces nuts within 3 or 4 years. I've seen some people, I'm in Pennsylvania, it's a lot colder here. They do survive cold, but it seems like, from everything I read, if you can get them a little warm, longer growing season, they will produce a lot more. But, you know, I'm not moving, so I'm going to keep these growing here. And within 3 or 4 years, theoretically, if all goes well and you have good seasons and they sprout, then we'll get chestnuts of our own for, you know, a fraction of the price. So I'll give you updates on the chestnut growing strategy that I have right now. I'll let you know if they all fungus up and rot or if they all sprout. And then we'll take you out to the farm and show you how they're growing out there. Thanks for watching. And this is the final product where your seeds are all in there, packed in the peat moss that's just slightly moist. Won't let the seeds dehydrate. We'll put a cover on them and we'll put them in the fridge and we'll check back in it. I check them every week or so to look, make sure they're not getting moldy. And I've got another set I've had in there for 2.5 weeks and they're not moldy yet. We'll see.